Let's start. Ooh, yes. Haha. Let the girl go, let her go. Shut up. Come closer and I'll kill her. Sorry, but you're not going to get the chance. Bang. I'm reading through the files of an old court case. It was the first case my longtime mentor, Mia Fey, death penalty. The case falls and met with a murder in the mountain about 8 hours after his escape. Her very first client was a dead row inmate who had recently escaped from prison, a whole year before me and I ever met. "6 years earlier, Mia Fey first trial. February 16th. This in lobby number 4. I'm so nervous. I don't feel like going to die. I never should have accepted this case. Eek! Good morning. Don't be jumpy, Mia. I didn't do nothing, I swear. I didn't kill nobody. Terry Falls. For Palace. My first client. Sentenced to death 5 years ago, and now a prison escapee. Just relax, Mia. Make a small try to relax. So why did you escape anyway? Eek. I'm sorry. I didn't do nothing. I didn't kill nobody. I never lie. I didn't escape from nowhere. But Mr. Palace. The police just recaptured you 2 days ago. Sorry. I told a little lie. Oh boy. But anyway, I didn't do it. No, I never killed nobody. I'm sorry for asking this, but you're on death row, right? Oh yeah. I'm really sorry. The sentence you me to die 5 years ago. I was tricked, I tell you. That woman, she lied in her testimony. That's why I got the death penalty. I swear, I didn't kill her. I could never do that. 2 days ago, he escaped from a police wagon when it crashed. Then about 8 hours later, a policewoman was murdered before the police could recapture him. The police believe that Terry Fallis did it. After you escaped, did you meet with the policewoman? Yeah, I did. She's the reason I escaped. So that much is true. He did meet the victim. But I didn't kill her. She was alive when I left. She was alive. It's true. I can trust him, right? I mean, I should. You're not going to figure out the truth just by staring at the guy. You're why are you here? I came to see how our little kitten was doing, all alone in the big, scary lion's den. I thought maybe you'd like someone to play with. Where's Mr. Grossberg? That old man is probably still in bed. I bet he's clutching an empty bottle and mumbling in his sleep. Aren't I good enough after all? It's me, Diego Armando. I didn't say. So Diego Armando is the finest attorney at Grossberg Law and Offices. Is here for me? No. You've got it all wrong. Today, you're the finest. After all, it took an amazing amount of guts to take this case. Imagine an escaped death row convict for our first client. Yeah, thanks. I wish I could get out of the dough. Relax. I just heard some good news. The prosecutor for today is fresh out of his diapers as well. Really? However, unlike a certain somebody who I won't mention, he has earned a reputation as a genius since beginning his law career. Genius? Well, it's about time to head in, kitten. Sharpen those claws of yours. It's go time. A solitary confinement cell for a condemned must be the world's loneliest place. And that's why my client ran away from every other lawyer that gave up on him. But not me. When I saw those overflowing eyes, I heard that simple childlike voice. I just had a feeling that he's telling the truth. Is this the brother, or is this actual the judge is younger? I don't know. What do you guys think? Is this the brother or or cousin? I forget. It's the brother or cousin or something like that. Okay. Court is now in session for the trial of Cherry Fall. No. I guess we'll just go with the normal judge voice. Just, I don't know. It's all good. Court is now in session for the trial of Terry Falls. Defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution has been ready for a while, Your Honor. I understand for the lawyer of both sides are newcomers. Yes, Your Honor, I'm Mia Fey. Miles Edruff, Your Honor. So you're the new prosecutor everyone's talking about, eh? They say you joined the prosecutor's office at quite an early age. At 20, Your Honor. I guess our little kitten hasn't earned herself much reputation yet, huh? Come on, or come, Mia. Or come on, Mia. You can't lose. Not to someone younger than you. Young people running a trial. I'm not sure how I feel about that. Now then, the defendant in the case is currently a felon on death row. 2 days ago, he escaped from the police wagon. Is that correct? Precisely. But now the defendant is not on trial for escaping prison. On the day the defendant escaped, a policewoman was murdered. So we're here to determine if Mr. Fallis was responsible for her death. You got it, kitten. Well then, Mr. Edgeworth, let's hear your opening statement. Yes, Your Honor. It was 5 years ago. The defendant, Terry Fallis, whatever, was sentenced to death in this very court. His crimes were kidnapping, extortion, and murder. The girl he threw off the bridge was only 14 years old. A truly horrible crime. I remember it well. There was no decisive evidence, so the trial was long and protracted. Correct. But in the end, what finally decided the case was a certain witness's testimony. A witness's testimony? The testimony of the detective Valerie Hawthorne, the person who was confronted at this criminal. She arrested Mr. Fallis at the scene and later testified against him. She said she witnessed Mr. Fallis throw a young victim into the river. For those who are not aware, Eagle River is well known for its powerful current. Most bodies that fall into there never recovered. So Miss Hawthorne's testimony was one to put him away. That policewoman you just mentioned, that wouldn't be exactly the victim, the same woman who was killed 2 days ago. The police sergeant Valerie Hawthorne. Aha, I see. The man who was sentenced to death based on her testimony escaped 2 days ago, with only one thing on his mind, to take revenge against the woman who convicted him. Aha. The truth becomes clear to me now. Huh? Yes. It is quite obvious the defendant is guilty. Objection! Wait a minute, that's not right. At least hear the case before you decide the outcome, Your Honor. Watch yourself, Miss Faye. I am not sure I care for your word choice or your tone of voice. Young people these days simply do not know how to respect their elders. Why, you're even younger than me, you hypocrite. You hypocrite. I called the detective who was in charge of the initial investigation of this case. Well, I'm back. Witness, state your name and occupation. Gumshoe, Dick Gumshoe. I'm the homicide detective in charge of this case, sir. I finally got promoted to detective division half a year ago. I don't believe anyone asked you about that. Hey, ma'am. You got any idea how much work it takes? What is it? You're really gorgeous. Excuse me? No, seriously. My heart is shaking for you. Detective, pull yourself together and try to be professional. Otherwise, I'll write you up on contempt so quick that you're something other than your heart will ache. Okay, I got it. Now, detective, tell us about the incident. Yes, sure, right away. The victim was a Sergeant Valerie Hawthorne, a veteran on the police force. She was stabbed in the back with a knife and died from excessive blood loss. That much is already stated in the autopsy report. The court would like to hear more details about the incident itself. Yes, sure, I gotcha. Okay, look at this. Aerial map of the area here. This sketches Dusky Bridge, an old suspension bridge, and the river runs under the Eagle River. The victim and the defendant met there, on top of the bridge. After stabbing her in the back, the killer carried the victim back to his car. He was recaptured at the police checkpoint when he was trying to make his getaway, sir. I see. Was the victim's blood found on the bridge? The victim, Sergeant Valerie Hawthorne, was wearing a thick coat, sir. Unfortunately, no traces of blood were found on the bridge. Mr. Edgeworth, I warn you, I absolutely despise conjecture. If there was no blood on the bridge, then you have no proof that they were ever met there. Your Honor, if you would listen to the testimony we have prepared, I'm sure you'll be convinced. The two of them most certainly did meet on the bridge that day. Why, Mr. Edgeworth? I'm not sure I like you wagging your finger at me as though I was some hoser. Detective, proceed with your testimony. Yes, sure. Here we go, Mia. Hang on. Okay, now, listen carefully, kitten. One little mistake in this guy will drink you for a morning tea. Trust me, and get ready. On the day of the incident, an unknown person phoned the sergeant and asked to meet. Sergeant Hawthorne went to the Dusky Bridge at the designated time and met with Mr. Follis. And that's where she was brutally murdered, sir. The criminal stuffed her body into the car of his trunk, his car trunk, and tried to make a getaway. Mr. Follis already arrested at the police checkpoint we set up at the base of the mountain. Well, you certainly haven't established the importance of the bridge. Naturally. Now would the defense please hurry up and proceed with the cross-examination? Yes, Your Honor. Cross-examination coming right up. Hey, settle down there, kitten. If you keep trembling like that, you're gonna make me spill my coffee. I'm not trembling, it's just the cold in here. The courtroom can be cold battlefield, alright, especially for a beginner. I don't need you to worry about me. I mean the defendant, the witness, everyone's a beginner here. You got me there. But maybe you should keep your claws out and show them what you've got, kitten. It's okay, Mia. Stay calm. Just remember, procedures and videos, you stayed up all night watching. This unknown person, you have no idea who it might be, right? Sorry, but I'm afraid I do. What? The one called Sergeant Hawthorne was the defendant of Terry Follis. What? The defendant? Defendant called her? Sergeant Hawthorne was a very thorough person, sir. She left a note about her phone call with Mr. Fallis. A note? Yeah, a top secret memo that she left on her desk. Or in her desk. Not on, in. According to this note, it seems to be the one who called her to the bridge was indeed the defendant, Terry Fallis. Fallis, whatever. Whose bright idea was that to keep the note from me? Looks like the judge is even more sure of his verdict now. Listen up. Never ask a question if you aren't ready to know the answer. That's the detective's fault. He's the one that said unknown person. Hey now. Don't make that face at me. Yeah. Okay. Okay. I just said no. I just said it that way, cause the prosecutor told me to. Was that a trap? With that cute face, I didn't expect him to be so sneaky. You have a thing for adrothermia? Okay. Murder, sir. And incredible stuff to her in the bottom. Hold it! Mr. Fallis had a car then. Well, that bridge was way up in the mountains. That bridge is way up in the mountains, ma'am. The defendant and the victim went both up there by car. I mean, how else? Right? What do you mean the defendant drove in his car? No, of course not. It was stolen. He stole it from the young couple that had been waiting at the red light. Car thieves. I'm not sure how I feel about car thieves. This guy is sure about how he feels about anything. This is a photo of the stolen car's trunk. Naturally, the body of Valerie Hawthorne is in there. Whoa, that doesn't look like too comfortable. The victim. She was stabbed in the back, correct? Yeah. For some reason, men always seem to get stabbed in the back. We're talking about a woman here. Actually, no, he's actually kind of right about that. You can't tell from this photo, but the knife was stuck in her back, nice and firm. The condition of the body when it was discovered is very important information. Detective, was there anything strange or noteworthy in the trunk of the car? Here's a photo of the trunk, but I didn't see anything strange. Do you? Anyway. Witness. What is it? Do you have something to say, Miss Faye? I'm sorry, I totally forgot what I was going to say. This is the first time I've ever had to actually address anyone like that. You should have practiced it before coming to court. Honestly, Miss Faye, I'm not sure I like this. Stay there, little kitten. Want a piece of my coffee candy? Candy? Well, you're still too young to be drinking real coffee. Come on, Mia. Shake it off. You're a lawyer. Detective. Yes, ma'am. Wait, that was... Yes, ma'am. Or, no. Yes, ma'am. There we go. This photo. You said there was nothing particular about it, correct? Is that correct? Yeah, that's what I said. Well, I suggest you take another look at the note written by the victim. Nope. Yes, it very clearly says, wear white scarf for identification. The caller must have forgotten the victim looked like, thus, this special request. I have one very simple question for you, detective. Where is the white scarf? I can't seem to find it in this photo. Well, to be honest, I didn't find it in the trunk, ma'am. And you stopped there? You should have looked for it. The caller told her to wear it and identify herself, so I'd expect she'd do just that. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, what do you have to say about this? I see the defense is little lacking. The scarf you are searching for so desperately for this one in so desperately for is this one perchance? Where did you find that, sir? On the Dusky Bridge. I was there first and decided to conduct my own investigation. Why? Why didn't you tell me? I made a decision to keep all pieces of evidence in my personal satchel. Because I have my own video game to play. It's the safest place. I know. That hotshot sure has a flair for the dramatic. It's not exactly white as the caller requested, but as you can see, it is close enough for what it was intended for. It looks like it spent some time in the mud. Not surprising. It was drizzling on the day, or drizzling on the mountain that day. Prosecutor Edgeworth, he was intentionally hiding that scarf the whole time. The court will accept the scarf into evidence. Now, the attorney for the defense is finished, embarrassing herself. I'd like to move on with the testimony. Is that all right with you? Isn't it, Miss Faye? Boy, I would like to wrap this scarf around his warm little neck. Very good. Now, if we're done with the mud-covered scarf business, the prosecution moves to establish a conclusively and with hard evidence that Miss Hawthorne and Mr. Fallis did indeed meet on the bridge that day. Furthermore, we'll show you exactly what occurred there. That sounds quite promising. I can't wait to hear all about it. Everything is moving with him. Don't forget, kitten. There's a reason why everyone considers this kid a genius. A genius, huh? Actually, there's an eyewitness who was there when the incident took place. This photo was accidentally taken by a witness. It shows the Vic wearing the scarf, sir. It was drizzling on that day, unfortunately a little hard to see what was going on. Anyway, the criminal shoved the victim down from behind and stabbed her in the back. That must have been where the scarf fell off. Looking at this photo, you really get the sense that the bridge is very high up. It's about a 40-foot drop from the bridge to the Eagle River down below. Mr. Edgeworth. Oh, Mr. Edgeworth, who took this photo anyway? Let's just say it was a well-intentioned third party. A potential witness. So why isn't this person in the courtroom? Well, they said they actually did not want to testify. The person in question is very delicate, Your Honor. Besides, as long as we have this photo, there is no reason to compel them to testify. I'm not sure how I feel about that. So, as you can see, Terry Fowles hold both the motive and opportunity to think quite clearly at this point what happened on that bridge. Aha, the truth is coming clear to me now. Huh? Yes, it's quite obvious. He's clearly guilty. No, not again. That's not fair. I haven't done my cross-examination yet. What do you mean? Anyway. Present the photo you just showed us. Wait, no, wrong photo. I don't know what you're doing, but you're f***ing up. Why do I have like 80 photos? Objection. So the time of the crime was a light drizzle coming down, correct? Yeah, the fog too. And generally soggy atmosphere. Well, I have evidence that doesn't go with the soggy atmosphere. But this photo is the victim's body that was found in the trunk of the car. Considering the conditions at the scene of the crime, something isn't right. Well, by all means, please enlighten us to what that isn't right. What is it about the photo in that trunk doesn't fit? Something because it cut off. Naturally, the answer is right here. The victim's coat. Or the victim's coat. As far as I can see, there is nothing strange about it. That's exactly what's strange. I recall the testimony. What were the conditions on the bridge that day? It was drizzling and foggy. Dusky bridge was all wet. The victim really had fallen down on her stomach on top of the bridge. And her front coat would have been covered in mud. Sure? That's exactly right. The other day I fell on a muddy street and my gorgeous playoff beard was befuddled. I do admit, there was a crime scene was quite wet that day. However, that doesn't mean that the top of the bridge was itself muddy. If Your Honor had fallen in the shower instead on a muddy street, your glorious hockey beard would be the pride of the league. Would be wet, not muddy. Fortunately, I have yet to test that. Still, your point is well taken. Can he prove that the surface of the bridge was muddy that day? The surface of the bridge? Huh? Ha. A real man wouldn't stand for a taunt like this. Neither would a real woman. Of course I can. Here is the evidence that proves the surface of the bridge was muddy. The evidence is this scarf. Ah. Shouldn't it be obvious? If the scarf fell onto the bridge and got this mud, it means that the bridge was obviously covered in mud. No, it can't be outwitted by this novice bimbo. Damn, Edgeware. Hey, shame to you, buddy. Pal. Friend. Miss Faye, assertions make perfect sense to me. I do admit that there appears to be one to be a contradiction between the condition of the victim's coat and her scarf. However, the real question is, why is there a contradiction? Huh? For every contradiction, there exists an explanation. Let's look at what the explanation in this case may be, shall we? Alright. It's not like I really get a choice, right? It's not like he's really giving me a choice here. You're doing pretty well for a little kitten, Mr. Armando. No matter what he says, a contradiction always becomes down to a lie. Either the victim's discovered in the trunk, the witness photo showing the defendant and the victim, or the witness's testimony that is stated she saw the moment of the murder. Just relax. Think it over. It's pretty simple, isn't it? The false evidence is one of the three. Those three. What you just said now. I'm not sure I like that. That wasn't me, Your Honor. It was the coffee aficionado over there who said it. This courtroom is not the habit of accepting false evidence, you know. Blame it on him, Your Honor. He's the one trying to slip false evidence into the court. But we won't let him. We'll expose these evidence as flimsy scam as it really is. Yes. False evidence in this case. No, I don't think this is the case that he gets false evidence from. I don't think. Maybe it is. There's one case he gets false evidence from. Alright, no, am I thinking of Phoenix right now? So maybe this might be the false evidence one. I forget. Someone just gives them just fake evidence completely. Well, either way, it doesn't really matter. So. The witness's testimony. Because it's not the photo, because you just took a photo. The body in the trunk. Probably not fake. It probably wasn't raining at that time when she was murdered. So we'll go with the testimony. It's a no-brainer. It's obviously the witness that's suspicious. During his earlier testimony, the detective pointed out a crucial fact. The criminal shoved the victim down from behind and stabbed her in the back. Now, is that the testimony that exactly what the witness claims to have seen? Yeah, that's what the witness told us. That testimony is filled with holes. After all, the victim's coat isn't dirty at all. That's true. It's not just true, it's the truth. If there was truly a decisive witness in this case, I'm certain that boy Wonder over there would have called them in the first place. Your Honor, the defense requests a cross-examination of the eyewitness. The testimony presented so far is not only vague, but contradictory as well. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, it appears that we'll need to hear from your mastery witness after all. You should brace yourselves for the brutal truth. Your Honor, the prosecution has no intention of hiding the witness from the court. We are prepared to present our witness at any time. Very well. Please bring forth your witness at this time. What Mr. Edgeworth said kind of worries me. What does he mean by the brutal truth? Now let's proceed with the testimony. Mr. Edgeworth, please go right ahead. Thank you, Your Honor. The prosecution summons the woman who saw the events that day with her very own eyes. This is it, Mia. The battle begins here. Witness, what is your name and occupation? Everyone is so silent, I can hear their hearts going pitter-patter. Oh. When I look at you, I can put it. You look as scrumptious as a double-double and a dozen of donut holes. I feel like I want to hurry up and hand down a verdict just to have a bite. No, no, stop it. Hey, not so fast. As I said before, this witness is very sensitive and delicate, and the most evil in this whole damn story. I would like to ask the court to please exercise care when addressing her. Yes, indeed. Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. You are a true gentleman. Miss Faye, could you learn a lot from this man? If he's such a gentleman, he sure doesn't act like one to me. Sir. Yes, my dear. This is my first time, so I'm sure I'll make a lot of mistakes. Anyway, I just wanted to say I'm sorry for all the trouble I might have caused. Not at all. It's no trouble at all. Now then, may we please have your name and occupation? My name is, Melissa Foster. I'm a college student, a freshman in literature department. You were on the scene when the unfortunate event occurred, correct? And you're the one who took this photo. Is that accurate? How can you be so mean? Am I dumb? I don't like her. If you can't tell. Now, see here. What are you doing shoving that in her face like that? Huh? But this is just a photograph. It's not like something's dangerous. Next time you'll be forced to penalize you. Uh-oh. I don't like the turn it is taking. Is she staring at me? And you would be? Huh? I'm the defense attorney. My name is Mia Fey. I see. So you are. Now then, young lady, could you please give us your testimony? Yes, Your Honor. I'll do my best. I was using my camera to take some pictures of wildflowers. Then I noticed there was 2 people standing upon the suspension bridge. Suddenly, they just started fighting. That's when I hurried and took that photo. Shows the crucial moment. And right after that, I called the police. By the way, there you were standing when the incident occurred. I believe that the map would be of help here. Wait, didn't they say the killer was more to the other side? And so she would have taken it the other way, right? I was standing right over here. I was standing in the beautiful field surrounded by the tall cliffs. So you took the photo from that location, eh? I brought the camera I was using at the time, just like Mr. Edgeworth asked me to. Oh, what a cute camera. Just like its owner. Alright, Judge, can you knock it off? Alright then, Miss Fey. Time for your cross-examination. But I warn you, make the witness cry again and you'll feel the wrath of my gavel. Alright, right before we do the cross-examination, let me get a bottle of water. Give me 1 second. Please. So why did you take the photo? Well, the 2 of them were really going at it. Ever since I was a little girl, I always wanted to be a news reporter. I guess that's part of me that just kind of took over. It smells like a lie to me. Yes, I understand completely. Even now, I can't completely abandon my boyhood dreams. Still, I use my grandson to test out my comedy routines on. So you want to be a comedian, huh? Not that it has any bearing on this. All I could do was use my camera. So I took a photo of the crucial moment and gave it to the police. That was the crucial moment? Him just standing there? All right. Witness. Witness. When you said you took a photo of the crucial moment, is this what you meant? All I can see in this photo is two people facing each other. You testified that you saw the two of them starting to fight. Normally, that's the kind of thing that would refer to as a crucial moment. Why haven't you presented a photo like that? Well, you see, the photo that was presented was the only one that was there was. But if you really wanted to capture the crucial moment, then what happened next? You must have taken a photo of it. My apologies, young lady. But Miss Faye's assertion is not without a certain amount of merit. He can certainly downplay the situation, can he? I'm sorry. I've been a very bad girl. I used up all the film, I mean. You ran out of film? This was the last one. What? Unfortunately, what is the truth? I personally examined the photographs she took that day. All the other photos are the witness herself, playing among wildflowers. The witness herself? Then who took the photos? Well, you see, my camera has a timer built into it. So you took photos of yourself? I remember taking some photos of myself once too. Please, no details. It seems that Miss Faye's assertion was not so decisive after all. Wait, just a minute. Well, if she had no film left, she couldn't have very well take them more pictures, eh? Miss Foster, perhaps when could you tell us about a different sort of photo? Photos of the incident that took with your very own eyes. Mr. Edgeworth, you're quite the poet. Don't give him any. Don't inflate his head. Very well then, let's go back to the cross-examination. Let's hear your thoughts on that fight you witnessed. Yes, Mr. Judge. Boy, this guy's really a sucker for sweet talk. It looks like the other kitten in this room is the one that's getting all the attention. Yeah, it's sickening. People standing up on the Simpson Bridge suddenly just started fighting. The victim turned around and turned away, but she only got about 10 yards before she was stabbed in the back. 10 yards. Okay. Remember that map you showed us? Witness, your testimony is a joke. Huh? What? But I just... Miss Faye, I thought I warned you not to make the witness cry. One short testimony and 2 bad contradictions. There's no possible excuse. You say there were 2 contradictions? It's simple. Just take a look at the diagram of the area. According to her testimony, the 2 of them were in the middle of the bridge. And if they were... and the victim had turned around and run... well then... she would have hit a dead end. Or she would have hit a dead end. You said 10 yards, but she could have ran even 5. Because the Dusky Bridge is a collapse on that side. What does all this mean? It's very simple, Your Honor. This charming little witness told a charming little lie. That's all there is to it. This beautiful young lady has been lying to the court. Just a moment, Your Honor. Mr. Edgeworth. Your Honor, allow me to personally apologize for the confusion. What do you mean? There's one major mistake on this diagram. What did you say? What are you referring to? It's all because this diagram was made after the incident occurred. It's a very old bridge. We couldn't find any official blueprints on it. So you're saying... I'm saying, even though this bridge is currently in disrepair, there was no evidence that you can prove that the bridge was broken during the incident. That's ridiculous. You can't even tell the contradiction from the bridge in this photo. Apologize to the court for not being more clear when I presented the evidence. That guy is good. Huh? What do you mean? He planned it from the beginning. He's a genius, all right. That diagram of the bridge was his insurance policy. What? That coward. Well, Miss Faye, it seems once again you made a reckless accusation. I'm so sorry. I must have been more careful myself. No. It's not your fault at all. Now then, shall we go with the trial? I'd like to establish once and for all what that witness actually saw. Indeed. All right, young lady. May I ask you to please proceed with your testimony? But it's so hard to go on. We're on your side, Miss Foster. I'm not. I'm totally not. There's no need to... Wrong guy. There's no need to worry. Just tell us what you saw. Yes, sir. After he stabbed her in the back, he quickly picked her up in his arms, then carried her over to the car. I suppose that was the only way he could make sure the body stayed hidden. He couldn't just leave the body on top of the bridge. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm the only one supposed to talk about what I saw. Witnessing such violence could have been difficult. Yes, sir. I'm still shaken up. If he accepts this testimony as it is, we're finished. Don't say that. Oh well. Maybe I'll stop off my favorite cafe on the way home. They make a really great mocha latte. This trial isn't over yet. That's what I like to hear. All right, Miss Faye, your cross-examination, if you please. The contradictions is staring you right in the face, Mia. You're on the attack. Running from the crime. A killer not wanting his victim to be found, I can understand that. However, the idea of moving the body for that purpose is clearly odd. There was a much easier way to make sure the body wasn't found. Well, what is it? Take another look at the map of the area and you'll see how. There is a river right below the bridge. Earlier, Mr. Edgeworth pointed out something interesting about the river. For those who are not aware, Eagle River is well known for its powerful current. Most bodies that fall into are never rediscovered or never recovered. Ah. In the kidnapping case 5 years ago, the victim's body was carried away and never found. If the 10 murders were to occur at the same spot above the Eagle River, you can bet your boots that every other killer would have tossed the body into the water. I'm not wearing boots. Order, order, order. I'm not sure if I care for the way you put that, Miss Faye. But I must admit it does seem odd to not have thrown the body into the river. Ooh. Well, Mr. Edgeworth. How sad. Perhaps Miss Faye would do well to try taking a dip in the river herself. After all, you claim to be such an expert in ways of nature. What are you talking about? My point is, no matter how odd you may find the killer's method of body disposal, the fact is that what the killer did, none of your arguments have anything to do with that witness saw. Quite true. Miss Faye, it seems your assertion is without merit after all. But what about the witness claims? To have seen is totally ridiculous. Surely you cannot deny that the body was found in the trunk of the car. That's certainly consistent with the what the witness has told us. Please, witness, go on with your testimony. I'll try. All you have to do is tell us only what you saw. Otherwise, the mean lady might yell at you again. Who is he talking about? Alright, I'll do my best. Sorry to be an old fuddy-duddy. Well, Miss Foster, it looks like you've done it this time. Done what? Made a crucial mistake. A crucial mistake? Like what, Miss Faye? The killer broke into the trunk of the stolen car and hid the body in there. You're saying you saw that, right? With your very own eyes. Yes, and? It's simple, Miss Foster. Take a look at the diagram. The place you claim to have taken the photo from from that day is here. Do you see what I mean, even if you tried to see the car? The outcrop of the rock is directly in the way. That's right, Miss Foster. From where you were standing, you could not possibly seen the killer's car. I admit that the diagram shows a large outcropping of rock. However, it isn't so tall that it would stop her from seeing the car. That's right. It's not that high. It's not high at all. I was able to see his car just fine. I'm so sorry, but that doesn't wash. I believe it was the witness who presented this evidence to the court, yes? This is the location from the photo was taken from. Your photo tells the whole story. You can clearly see the left side of the bridge, but the court outcropping is being referred to is really more like a cliff. Ah. Your review should have been completely cut off by this cliff, but you still claim to have been able to see the killer's car. Order in the court. What is the meaning of all this ballyhoo? Your Honor, don't jump to any hasty conclusions. The fact that the escapee fled in the stolen car was reported on the news. After witnessing a murder, I'm sure you can appreciate that the witness was very upset. She must have heard about the stolen car and convicted herself that she saw it. But she was repeatedly warned before starting her testimony. She was told to testify only what she saw with her own eyes. Mr. Judge. Mr. Judge. What is it? I think I must have remembered things wrong. Hey, wait a minute. You can't just say that. Miss Faye, no one on the face of this planet is perfect. Yes indeed, quite true. You know what they say. It's human to forgive divine. I'm inclined I could give the benefit of the doubt to our witness here. What? That's not fair.
Save the tears for later, kitten.
Mr. Armando,
Don't look back until the trial's over. Now is the time to go forward.
but that wasn't fair.
Okay, kitten, you need to relax. Then you need to remember the other kitten's testimony.
The killer broke into the trunk of the car. The killer broke into the trunk of the stolen car and hid the body in there.
So tell me, how did she know that?
How did she know that he broke into the trunk?
Aha. Well, Miss Foster,
Until you can explain how you knew that, you're going to have a lot of very suspicious people on your side of the court.
well, witness.
Well, I'm certain that he broke into the trunk because there were marks left on the trunk lid. I'm certain they were scratch marks from when he broke into it.
What? Let me see that photo. It's true.
There certainly looks like scratch marks around the keyhole.
Isn't it obvious that the trunk had been broken open? Well, Miss Faye, are you satisfied?
On the judge's on the side. I can't make any mistakes here. What did she just say? Is a contradiction there somewhere?
Melissa Foster, it looks like you finally betrayed yourself.
What?
You said that
You said you were in the field taking photos of wildflowers, but even so, you knew about the scratches. The question is, when? When did you get a chance to see those scratches? Fine, I've got her.
I'm getting pretty tired of waiting over here. Then perhaps it would be faster if Miss Faye explained herself.
Your Honor, there's only one possible explanation. The reason that the witness had been seen the scratches was... She happened to be passing by.
Doubt it.
She put the corpse in herself.
Possible.
She is the owner of the car.
Doubt it.
Because if you stole it from a couple, she probably wouldn't be where she was. So, we'll say she did it. There's only one way that the witness had a chance to see those scratches.
Yes, what is it?
Naturally, when she opened the trunk and stuffed the corpse in herself. The person who really hid the body in the trunk of that car was Melissa Foster. It was you that did it, wasn't it? That's ridiculous. I could never. It was the man in the prison garb. The one that... I don't think so, Miss Foster. Mr. Fowlis had been the one who put the corpse in the trunk. He would have simply used the car key. There was no need to break it open. But he stole the car. He stole the car from a young couple that had been waiting at a red light, which means the key would have been still in the ignition. Oh, I see. Thank you for telling us about the scratches, Miss Foster. Without that, we would have never could have uncovered the truth. That it couldn't have been Mr. Fowlis that put the body in the trunk.
No! Preposterous. to even suggest that the witness put the body in there. If that were true, then how would you explain the photos she took? The corpse could only have been put in the trunk when the incident occurred. We already know that at the time she was taking photographs. Remember what she said about taking a picture? Now's your chance, Mia. Finish this thing. On the contrary, I'm not so certain about that anymore, Miss Redruth. There's no need to think too deeply about it. What I'm saying is the shutter for this may not have been pushed by Mr. Foster herself. Take that. Let's take another look at this camera and see what features it has, shall we? As a timer built into it, even a mini tripod. Why, it's almost as if she had brought this camera just to take a picture. What are you trying to say then, Miss Faye? When the crime occurred, Miss Foster wasn't in the field as she claimed. Well, if she really did use the camera all the time, then the answer is yes. She was somewhere else. Exactly. She was not in the field. Would the defense please explain further? Listen, this is a crucial point. Whereas Miss Foster, when the incident occurred, in answering that question, will also make clear Miss Foster's true identity. Well then, please answer this question. Where was Melissa Foster? Something. Naturally, the witness was right here. But that's where the victim, Miss Hawthorne, was standing. Order, Miss Faye. What on earth? Your Honor, if I may. After parting with the victim on the bridge, the defendant fled by car. But this would mean that there was no time to put the victim in the trunk. So in other words, if someone put the body in the trunk, it could have only been before the defendant met the victim. How asinine. Of course, Mr. Fowles met the victim. The only person with the opportunity to have put the victim in the trunk is the same man that killed her, Terry Fowles. Fowles. You still don't understand, do you, Miss Redruth? By the time the witness's photo was taken, the victim was already dead. The person in the photo was not Valerie Hawthorne. What? I never heard of any more ridiculous in my entire life. Then who exactly is the victim in this photo? Isn't it obvious? It's your own witness. What? The only possible explanation. The woman that Mr. Fowles met on the bridge that day was not Valerie Hawthorne. It was you, Melissa Foster. Me? Yes, remember that it was raining and foggy on the mountain that day. Mr. Fowles himself believed that the woman in front of him was Valerie Hawthorne. But the defendant knew Valerie Hawthorne very well. After all, she was a woman whose testimony helped get him convicted. But since then, my client has spent 5 hard years in federal penitentiary. But he couldn't remember exactly what she looked like anymore. You are just making this up as you go along. Where is your proof? I've got it all right here. This piece of evidence will blow this case wide open. At the time of the incident, Mr. Palace had forgotten what Valerie Hawthorne looked like. Mr. Palace had forgotten the victim's face. That's why he needed some piece of identification, namely this muddy scarf. Mr. Fowles, who requested she wear this scarf to identify herself. That's already been proven by the note left by the victim. In other words, as long as you were wearing the scarf like he asked, anyone could have pretended to be Valerie Hawthorne. Well, what do you have to say to that, Melissa Foster? Where's Miss Foster? She's collecting herself in the lobby. It's obvious that Melissa Foster did it.
She hid the body in the trunk, disguised herself as the victim. She set up the camera, snap a fake photo of them together.
The only question is, why did she do it? Well, isn't it obvious? Isn't that obvious? She's the real culprit. Well, we have to wait for Miss Foster to compose herself before we start again. Until then, this court is in recess. The defense and the prosecution are both to wait in their respective lobbies. Yes, Your Honor. Understood. Very well, this court is in recess.
To be continued.
Hot dog. Hot diggity 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 dog. One, two. February 16th, District Court, Defendant Lobby number 4. I'm sorry. I want to thank you very good. You're looking real good. Really hooked me up. Thanks, we're almost there. Once I prove that she committed the crime. Yeah, but there's no more big obstacle we've got to get past. Obstacle? Yeah, motive. Why would Miss Melissa Foster kill that policewoman anyway? Motive, huh? Anyway, we're still badly in need for information. Information, right? We need the most is the info about this Melissa Foster herself. All we need is that she's studying literature. And one more thing. What is it? Well, the incident that happened 5 years ago, of course. Kidnapping, murder case. That zebra boy is on death row for. I didn't do nothing. I didn't kill nobody. I never lie. Mr. Fowles, in this case, tell us a little bit more about it. About what happened 5 years ago? Okay, I trust you. On that day 5 years ago, I dream of it every day. This picture, it reminds me everything. The bridge looks same, just like then, 5 years ago. Like it could fall apart anytime. So it's been broken like that. So it's been broken like that for the past 5 years. Sorry, buddy, but you sound like the one that could fall apart at any minute. It's true, I did. I did kidnap her. 5 years ago, I kidnapped my girlfriend. Dahlia Hawthorne. Your girlfriend? Huh? Hey, hold on there. Did you say Hawthorne? The victim's last name. Dahlia Hawthorne, Valerie's little sister. What? Are you serious? The girl, let her go. Shut up. Come closer and I'll kill her. Sorry, but you're not going to get away. Get the chance. The detective back then was Valerie Hawthorne. Or the victim back then was Valerie Hawthorne. At first I thought shooting someone for kidnapping was crossing the line, but if that was to protect a little sister, I can understand why she did it. Wrong. Protect sister. Valerie betrayed me. Betrayed us. What do you mean she betrayed you? Everything. All lies. All make-believe. Kidnapping too. A make-believe kidnapping? Dahlia, my girlfriend. My love. My teen angel.
Did he actually say my teen angel? She's seen too many soap operas.
I'll do anything she says. Anything Dahlia says.
Anything Dahlia says?
Hold on a minute. What you're saying that the kidnapping 5 years ago was planned by? Yeah, me and Dahlia and Valerie too.
Valerie was in on it?
Dahlia's family's rich. Jewelry business. We get one jewel. That's what we thought. Me and Dahlia wrote kidnap note. We'll send it to her dad. Ask for a $2 million diamond. Tell him to make exchange on the Dusky Bridge. We'll tell him Valerie to make transfer cause she knew detective. Having the police detective in your pocket is a useful thing, alright. In the end, you were planning on splitting the 2 million 3 ways, right? Huh? Yeah, but that woman. That woman, Valerie. She'd do it for real? She shot at me. And Delilah. I was hit in the arm. Delilah, she jumped into the river. Jump? You said she jumped on purpose? Do you? I couldn't do it. I could never push her. Anyway, I blacked out. Wake up with the police all over. And that's when they decided to give you the death sentence. I couldn't believe it. That woman, she betrayed me. That man, Terry Foss, killed her and threw her off the bridge. He threw my beloved sister into a roaring river 40 feet below. These 5 years is all I wonder is why? Why did she lie? That's all I want to know. So that's why you called her. You wanted to hear the truth from Valerie's herself. Yes, but I forget what she would look like, so I tell her to wear a scarf. I don't want her. Just ask why. Why did you lie? Why did you betray me? I just want to hear the answer come from her mouth, that's all.
So that's why. That's why you made a crazy escape like that.
Just one thing, Zebra Boy. My senses are tingling. All over. Tell me, Miss Files, where is it? Huh? Where's what? Come on now, kitten. The ransom, the $2 million diamond. Remember that now. Did you give it back to Pops, or did the police take it? I don't know. Huh? You don't know? No, really, I don't know. It's gone with Delilah. With Delilah? That day on the bridge, Delilah put it in her backpack. Now gone with Delilah, gone forever. Into Eagle River. It disappeared with Delilah, huh? Wait a minute. You can come back in now. We're about ready to go. Mr. Fowlis. Fowlis. Just one more question. When you said with Delilah, do you mean the diamond is still missing? All along with the body of Delilah Hawthorne? Never found her, my sweet Delilah. They never found her. Swallowed by the river. Gone, Delilah, my teen angel. Your teen angel. How old was she anyway?
I guess you were robbing cradles before diamonds.
She plans a fake kidnapping and disappears into the river with a rock worth $2 million. Oh man, angels these days.
Alice takes the fall and gets a one-way ticket to death row. And Delilah Hawthorne is an angel, or she really a...
It's time, kitten. It looks like you have a few more aces up your sleeve now.
You bet.
The training wheels come off now, Mia. You got to strike while the iron is hot. That's one of my rules. Remember it. Now then, let's continue with the trial of Mr. Terry Fowles. Fowles, whatever. Witness, are you feeling better?
Yes, Your Honor. I'll try to do my best.
You're a brave young lady.
Not this again.
I can understand a defense lawyer wanting to get her client off the hook. However, to pin the crime on the innocent student is...
What are you talking about?
My witness is not the person on trial here. She's an innocent bystander who witnessed a violent crime, that's all. What possible reason would a girl like this have murdering a policewoman? It is certainly hard to imagine this woman as a murderer.
Her motive, huh? I figured that's what I had to establish next.
Well, Miss Faye, do you have any evidence of a motive? Yes, of course, I think. Still acting as tame as a kitten. Mr. Armando. Listen, a lawyer is someone who smiles no matter how bad it gets. Smiling on the outside while your guts are twisted in knots is the mark of a pro. Maybe so, but if you wish to quit grinning at me like that. Excuse me, may I speak, Mr. Judge? Of course. Mr. Judge is ready anytime you like. I'd like to say something. Some people here are suspicious of me, right? That's why. I at least wanted to, you, Mr. Judge, know that is not true. I see. You're such an honest and upstanding young lady. It looks like the witness is a real professional. What do you mean? Look at that 100-watt smile. Just when things are darkest for her, click, she lightens up. Very well then, let's hear what the witness has to say. I was out in the country until a year before last. Until I entered college, I had never been to the Eagle Mountain before. I certainly don't have any reason for wanting to hurt a police officer. Holding a grudge and killing the officer who testified against you 5 years ago, or kidnapping a poor girl, I just think the defendant is a terrible, horrible monster. Out of the country, eh? Precisely. Furthermore, she has no possible motive for committing murder. Indeed. You're up the back, kitten. Sharpen those claws and put on your best smile. You bet. Somehow, I have to tie her to this case. So what country were you living in then? We were all living abroad, but after my parents were killed. It was a brutal civil war. She had to try to make her way back home alone. I lost everything. I didn't even have any personal identification.
What kind of sob story is this?
What do I do? Should I press her pressure for details? Witness, answer my question. I'll even repeat it for you. What country were you in? Your Honor, this line of questioning is childish. What country she was in and how many languages she may speak are relevant here. We're here to evaluate whether this witness has any connection to this case. I lived abroad ever since I was a little girl. That's why I could never have known that Mr. Fawes or Detective Hawthorne. Yes, I think we've established that point. Yes, indeed. Well then, shall we add what you've just stated to the official testimony? Yes, please, Mr. Judge. Naturally, I didn't know that either the victim or the defendant. I only entered college and never been to Eagle Mountain before. Holding a grudge and killing an officer. Hold it. A grudge? Well, the policewoman's testimony was crucial, wasn't it? Crucial in getting the defendant sentenced to death. Yes, and that's precisely what harbored such a deep anger against her. So much anger, he forgot his own guilt. My client has always maintained that that he's innocent of those charges. He seems rather forgetful. Your client, I mean. Not only did he forget about what he did, but he forgot about the poor policewoman as well. What do you mean by that? Your client. He forgot what the detective looked like, right? Too bad for her that what he didn't forget about her testimony as well.
Well, she's right about that. Mr. Powell is kind of forgetful.
Alright, let's press harder. You said he forgot what the detective looked like. What do you mean by that? Well, he couldn't tell who she was without some kind of identification, right? Quite right. That's when the victim was wearing a scarf as identification. Why, if I had been wearing a white scarf that day, then he probably would have tried to kill me. That's true. He's clearly a bitter man.
This is bad. Mr. Powell's reputation keeps getting worse and worse. Sometimes it's best not to poke a date in pity. What should I do with that last statement?
Add it to the testimony. Clearly add it. Your Honor, what witness just now was tremendously important. I'd like her to add it to the official testimony. The prosecution has no objection. After all, the defendant is the killer and a mentally unbalanced one at that. That testimony only helps to further prove that point. No, that's not why I... Enough, witness, if you would. My pleasure, Mr. Judge. I guess I'm lucky I wasn't wearing a white scarf. But isn't a scarf blue? Witness, I want you to look at this photo you took. It's hard to see in the photo, but the scarf the victim wore as identification. You're talking about the scarf right here, eh? Yes, that's the scarf the policewoman was wearing.
I've got her now. Just don't mess up.
But that's strange. In your testimony, you stated the following. I guess I'm lucky I wasn't wearing a white scarf. Ooh, white? The scarf you identified as belonging to the victim, but clearly doesn't look white to me. Oh. Well, if it wasn't a foggy day, it was raining as well. And not surprising that she mistook it for white. Sorry, but not this time. The witness just confirmed that this was the victim's scarf. Yes, but what's the significance? It's true that the scarf does not look white, but there's only one explanation for this mix-up. The reason why this witness thought the scarf was white is... Victim's note. Witness, have you ever seen this note? Nope, no, never. It's top secret evidence. There's no reason that you would have. I wonder about that. What do you mean? This note shows Terry Falls' instructions to the victim regarding their meeting. It says, wear a white scarf for identification. White scarf. Ugh. Witness, you knew about this note, what this note said. And it's because you knew what a you slipped up and mistakenly said white scarf. Well, Miss Foster. No. Order, order, order. Mr. Edgeworth, I'm waiting for an explanation. I'm quite sure that this note wasn't leaked to the public. And yet, the witness knew exactly what the note said. At the time of the murder, the number of people that knew were quite limited. Terry Fallis is one, the person who wrote the note, and Valerie Hawthorne is another. And finally, one more person. Did you say one more person? That's right, a person that no one would have suspected. You figured it out, kitten. Yep. The third person that knew the contents of this note was... That person is Dahlia Hawthorne. Dahlia Hawthorne? I've never heard of that name before. Look at the victim's note. This is what it says. Talk to Dahlia. Tell her this time. There is her name right there. What is this? So this person... So who is this person? This is Dahlia Hawthorne? Miss Faye must have been desperate. She's trying to bring back the dead to life. The dead? Dahlia Hawthorne was the victim's deceased younger sister. She was killed in a crime 5 years ago. Killed in a crime? You don't mean... Yes, she was kidnapped and killed by Terry Fallis. You said that she was killed. But was she really? What are you implying? Of course, people thought that she died 5 years ago. She fell off the Dusky Bridge and was lost in the Eagle River. However, her corpse was never found. She was deceased legally dead 5 years ago. As far as the law is concerned, Dahlia Hawthorne is officially dead. But the fact remains that her body was never recovered. Dahlia Hawthorne was 14 5 years ago. If she were still alive, she'd be 19 now. Melissa Foster. I believe that's the same age you are. Even if you couldn't, Miss Faye, you're not saying. But I am. That's what precisely I'm saying. This is the witness before, or this witness before us, is the girl that was kidnapped 5 years ago. This girl's in fact Miss Dahlia Hawthorne. What? Ha, nice work. That was tossing a grenade into a 3-alarm fire. But unless you can tie all the loose ends together, you're nothing but a hit-and-run arsonist. I understand. If I can expose the true nature, I can turn this whole case on its head. Now's my chance to make Mr. Edgeworth squirm. Witness, who are you anyway? I didn't think it'd come to this. That's enough. You don't have to say any more, witness. Yes, I understand. What is it, Mr. Edgeworth? Explain yourself. Your Honor, I have an admission to make. Honestly, I never thought the defense would pursue this matter thus far. You don't mean... Yes, the prosecutor's office isn't filled with fools, you know. Naturally, we conducted a full background check on all of our witnesses. What did he say? Looks like the kid knew. He knew that the true identity from the get-go. No way, but then why? You haven't revealed her secret. He wasn't going to say anything about it. All he wanted was her testimony, so he made a little trade. Let me introduce you to the victim's younger sister, Miss Delilah Hawthorne. But I thought she died 5 years ago. I thought so as well, but well, as you can see. Why didn't you hide your identity for 5 years? That has nothing to do with the current case. She merely an accidental witness to a crime. Accidental? I don't blame her for that. Blame that woman. For the last 5 years, she's been playing a role of victim. And now we find her acting suspiciously at the scene of another murder. Really, Miss Faye, I must say your strategy here is painfully obvious. You're trying to pin your client's true crime on an innocent witness in order to win. At any cost. How dare you? Please, let us take a moment to think. 5 years ago, this girl was kidnapped and nearly killed. But even worse, that 5 years later, Dahlia Hawthorne lost something much more precious, her big sister. Miss Faye must be insane to suggest that she murdered her. What? I'm inclined to agree with the prosecutor's logic. Miss Faye, do you have any evidence to back up your assertion? What possible reason would this witness have for killing her beloved sister? Well, you see, I thought I was winning, but somehow he's turned it around on me. You think you need a little push, am I right? In the right direction, kid. The defense is prepared to present the evidence supporting our claim. Ah, that wasn't me. It was this guy. This crazy coffee addict. I think we've heard enough empty threats from you, old man. What makes you think I'm empty, boy? Because your protege looks like she's sweating bullets. Ah, I am sweating bullets. You think you're in a tough spot, huh? Of course, aren't I? No, you just arrived at the moment of truth, that's all. Whether you win or lose, that's up to you. Up to me? Rashness of youth, how charming. This is coming from someone younger than me. Now then, let's not waste any more time, Miss Faye. What motive would this witness have for murdering her own sister, Valerie Hawthorne? The story starts after Terry Fallis escaped. He called Valerie and told her he wanted to meet. This is the note she left. It says, talk to Dahlia. Tell her this time the whole truth must come out. Valerie Hawthorne gave Dahlia a warning. She told her she was going to reveal the world the whole truth. The whole truth. There was a dangerously important secret between Valerie and Dahlia. That was the reason Dahlia left. She had to kill Valerie. To keep her mouth shut permanently. A terrific story, Miss Faye. Would you like Fiction, that is. Enlighten the court, Miss Fay, on what this secret was so important. Where's your evidence? Dahlia Valerie Hawthorne and Terry Fallis. There's only one important secret that connects them all. Oh yes, and I know this secret. Your Honor, the defense would like to question further testimony. What testimony? Regarding the kidnapping 5 years ago, we believe it would explain a lot of things. Such as the nature and important secret between the Hawthorne sisters. Very well, I'll grant you the request for further testimony. I know I'll be painful for you, but can you enlighten us one more little time, Maple Leaf? Yes, I'll try, Mr. Judge. Putting on the old charm one more time, Delilah. But this time is your last time. You'll hide behind your womanly wails for whiles. Billy's. "5 years ago, I was kidnapped by Mr. Fallis. The ransom price was a raw diamond. My sister Valerie brought it to the bridge. After she made the exchange, she shot Mr. Fallis in the arm. That's when Mr. Fallis tried to kill me by shoving me off the bridge from behind. I survived, but I was afraid I might be kidnapped again for my family's money. So I decided to change my identity and start a new life." But you had the stone. The kidnapping left her emotionally scarred. With her sister's help, she left the Hawthorne family and started all over again. And we're to believe after all that she murdered her sister. Preposterous. Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. Thank you, Mr. Edgeworth. Miss Fay. Yes, Your Honor. As you've heard, the witness is still traumatized from the kidnapping. I'll ask you again to be extremely gentle in your cross-examination. Mr. Edgeworth got to jump on me again. Ha. If you're not allowed to fight, then let's twist some arms. Listen up. We still got that info. That ace up our sleeve. What info? Come on, kitten. Don't say you've forgotten already. The fact that the kidnapping 5 years ago was staged. That's right. It was a fake kidnapping. Terry Fallis told us in the lobby. I'll do anything she says. I'll do anything Delilah says. What you're saying that the kidnapping 5 years ago was planned by, yeah, me and Delilah, and Valerie too. Yes, that's it. The fake kidnapping. It's your best shot, Mia. That's her secret. "5 years ago. 5 years ago, I was kidnapped by Mr. Fallis. The ransom price was a raw diamond. My sister Valerie brought it to the bridge. After she made it... I'm rereading again. Present our favorite map. You say that Mr. Fallis pushed you into the Eagle River. However, that's hard to believe. But it's true. I felt a push on my back. I'm certain of it. It was Mr. Fallis. I'm sorry, I guess I wasn't clear enough. I should have said that's not hard, or that's hard to believe. I should have said that's impossible. Impossible? I asked the court to recall the condition of the Dusky Bridge now and 5 years ago. That bridge hasn't changed one bit in the last 5 years. If someone had pushed you from behind, you would have claimed. Instead of being carried away by the river, you would have been smashed by the bedrock below. A most certain death. Do you understand now, Delilah Hawthorne, that the very notion that my client pushed you from behind is impossible? Your Honor, this event occurred 5 years ago. Why, for all we know, that the water level of the river may have been higher back then. But 40 years ago, it's 40 feet from the bridge to the river. A small change to the water level wouldn't make a difference. You're right. If the events occurred just as a witness has testified, then the defendant couldn't have been pushed by the witness into the river. Young lady, what is the meaning of this? Just a moment, Your Honor. Is it true that the witness testified that the defendant pushed her into the river? However, she never stated that she fell from the back end of the bridge. What do you mean? After being shot in the arm, it's plausible that Mr. Fallis panicked. For Washington... Which arm did he get shot in? Was it his left or right? After being shot in the arm, it's plausible that Mr. Fallis panicked. Therefore, he could have unwittingly pushed her off the side of the bridge. If that's true, she would have fallen into the river. Well, Miss Hawthorne, is Mr. Edger's explanation correct? Now that you mention it, I do remember now. I fell on the bridge. My skirt got caught on the bridge's sidewise wires. You can't be serious. Order in the court. It seems Miss Faye's assault has finally reached its conclusion. Objection! Not now, Mia. This time, it's no time to retreat. Unfortunately for you, this is just the start of Miss Faye's assault. Ooh, what? You believe your reasonings went something like this, Mr. Edgeworth. After being shot in the arm, it's plausible that Mr. Fallis panicked. Therefore, he could have unwittingly pushed her off the side of the bridge. However, once again, I'm forced to say that's impossible. Ridiculous. What is so impossible about it? Because your flawed logic contradicts the court's record. Your Honor, all of your answers are right here in this photo. Take a look at the wires supporting both sides of the bridge. They extend up to 5 feet off the ground. It would be impossible to push someone off from there. No! But let's remember the size and strength of the defendant. The wires looked like it would be no problem for him. I could have easily picked up a 15-year-old girl and thrown her over. So young and already so forgetful, Miss Redworth. Mr. Falls had been shot right in the arm. More importantly, Valerie Hawthorne had her gun trained on him, point-blank range. So Mr. Fowles throwing the witness off the bridge, that's clearly impossible. Order, order! What is the meaning of this? Dahlia Hawthorne, you jumped into the Eagle River intentionally. What is this? Indeed. Indeed. What do you mean by such ridiculous remark? Yes, it's ridiculous. My sister was there to help me. She had her gun and handcuffs. She could have saved me. Jumping into a raging river like that would have been suicide. Perhaps, but still, it's exactly what you did. You were probably confident that you could handle a swift current. But even more so, the witness had much more compelling reason for jumping into the river. Oh, then was it... What was so important she'd jump into the river? The witness was still alive is a fact that explains everything. This is why she risked her life jumping into the river. This is why she risked her life by jumping into the rapids of the Eagle River. "5 years ago, something disappeared along with Dahlia that day. The item that Valerie brought up to the mountain with her, the $2 million diamond. No, it can't be. Yes, Dahlia had it planned all from the beginning. $2 million. She was going to keep it all for herself. She forced Mr. Fowles to help her fake the kidnapping. Bang. The last moment, she betrayed him and threw herself into the river, with the ransom tucked away safely in her backpack. Why, that's simply ridiculous. Order, order. Your Honor, 5 years ago, the witness was only 14 years old. Do you really think a 14-year-old is capable of such a demonic plan? This woman is a demon. And there is one more person to help her make the demon out of her. Her sister, Valerie Hawthorne. You mean the victim was involved in the kidnapping plot as well? But she was a detective then. You're saying that she participated in her sister's kidnapping? Precisely. I'm sure that it weighed heavily on her conscience for the past 5 years. This is the sole reason behind the victim's murder. What do you mean by that? On the day of the murder, after receiving the phone call from Mr. Fowles, Valerie, her sister, called her sister Dahlia. And then she told her what she was planning to do. Planning to do? She was going to tell her the whole truth, as she wrote in her note. That is, what sealed Valerie Hawthorne's fate. That is when she hatched her demonic plan to kill two birds with one stone. A plan that would ensure neither of the accomplices to kidnapping would talk. And that is why you killed your sister, Valerie Hawthorne. Who is that laughing at a time like this? Forgive me. It's just hilarious. A witness? Is that you? You amuse me, woman. Miss Mia Fey. You can certainly weave an exciting tale. Naturally, you'll have evidence to back it up, don't you? Evidence? Evidence that I planned the kidnapping, of course. That at 14 I plotted with Mr. Fowles, my sister. Well, and one more thing. What happened to the $2 million diamond? If you can't provide evidence to at least show that. Well, Miss Fey, I don't know. What a joke. You, Miss Fey? Are you stupid or something? How could I prove a fake kidnapping that happened 5 years ago? I don't even have decisive proof of Valerie Hawthorne's murder. Well, it seems we've come to an end. To be honest, the witness's behavior does raise certain suspicions. However, I am forced to reject the assertions made by the defense. Of course you are. This is it. Is it really over? That girl has made a fool of me, and there's nothing I can do about it. Without evidence, the trial is over. Who decided that? Mr. Armando. Come on now, kitten. Haven't you figured out that you can make your own rules? For example, even if there's no evidence, there's still testimony. Testimony? Testimony? On the day in question, Dahlia Hawthorne murdered her sister, Valerie Hawthorne. She hid the body in the trunk of Mr. Fowler's stolen car and went to meet with him. Disguised as her sister, Valerie Hawthorne. That's what you think, right? Yes, that's right. In that case, there's only one answer, right? There can only be one person left that can testify about Valerie Hawthorne's murder. Since there's no proof, there's only one thing left to do. Who is that one person that can testify that the demon's woman's crime? Your Honor, and the defense wishes to call a new witness. A new witness? Yes. I would like to hear the testimony of Terry Fallis, the defendant. There's one person that can shed any further light on the situation. Only one person that knows what Dahlia's role in the kidnapping was. The only person that can say whether the person in this photo is Valerie Hawthorne, or whether, in fact, that their younger sister, Dahlia, was disguised as her. Only one person who can solve this riddle once and for all. That person is Terry Fallis. Well, Mr. Edgeworth, what is your take on this? Why not? The prosecution has no objection. Very well. Bailiff, bring the defendant to the witness stand. This is my last chance, Mr. Fallis. My last chance to establish Dahlia's guilt.
You're all I have left.
Defendant, you heard everything that's been said up to this point, yes? I don't believe it. No way. Dahlia died 5 years ago. Valerie betrayed me.
Mr. Falls, I don't know what she said to you 5 years ago, but one thing is clear. Dahlia very much is alive. And you were used for $2 million.
That's not true. Mr. Falls, there's only one question I want you to answer. 2 days ago on the Dusky Bridge, who did you meet? It was Valerie Hawthorne, or was it Delilah Hawthorne? Dahlia, did you betray me? 5 years ago, she promised never ever to betray each other.
Terry.
Dahlia? Is it true? Is it true that you're alive?
You don't trust me anymore. That makes me sad.
Tell the truth. Tell the real truth. I believe in you.
I shouldn't need to say it. You should already know.
But there's one thing I will say.
My life is in your hands right now, Terry.
Yeah.
I will allow Mr. Fowles to testify once and only once. Well then, Mr. Fowles, would you be the final testimony in this trial? Witness.
Nah.
Eek. I'm sorry. I apologize.
Water, please. Water. I can't talk. Need water.
Oh well. I guess I'll have to be my coffee instead.
At least it'll match the way down. He's probably right now. Or at least it will probably match the way he's probably feeling right now. Darker and bitter than hell itself. Nah.
That day, 4 p.m., I stopped the car and I was in front of the bridge. She wasn't there, so I waited on the bridge. I watched my car from the bridge. I never put no body in that car. Finally, one woman came and stood in front of me. We talked, then she left.
That was Valerie, not my Dahlia.
Mr. Fowles, you're covering for her. Do you think you would do the same?
That's enough, Miss Faye.
His last statement was a fitting way to end the final testimony of the trial. Well then, Miss Faye, please proceed with cross-examination. Is this how you want it to end, Mr. Fowles? Another guilty verdict to go along with your death sentence?
There's only one person who can stop it. You, kitten, I think.
Okay.
Objection!
So when you got to the bridge, no one had arrived, huh? So you waited on the bridge. You're sure of that?
Yeah, I'm sure.
You're sure, huh? Well, I'm sure too, Mr. Fowles. I'm sure that you're lying.
Huh? What? What?
Oh, would I love to hear the rationale on this, Miss Faye? You want to know who arrived at the bridge first? Just look at this photo. It's perfectly clear. Obviously, the person that came first would have been the one
on the front end of the bridge, right? But the victim at the end of the bridge. Precisely my point. In other words, Mr. Fallis. You must have arrived at the bridge after she did. Mr. Fallis. Please don't get so worked up. We just want the truth. I got there around 4 o'clock. It's true. I had to go somewhere. I had somewhere to go, a special place. Did you go to this special place before you went to the bridge? Yeah. It's an old temple about 15 minutes from the bridge. 5 years ago, me and Delilah, we promised each other. We swore we wouldn't betray each other. She brought me a memento, a represent our love. A memento. 5 years ago, I hid it under the base of the tree. It's a special memory for me. That's it. This is what I went to get. This little bottle, a necklace, is your memento? It's quite charming, but it looks empty. Your Honor, you heard what my client said. He arrived at the scene at 4 o'clock, but then he left his car unattended and walked away. He's gone for approximately 30 minutes. With that much time, Dial Hawthorne could have easily hidden the body in the trunk of his car. No. Indeed, it certainly was enough time for it. I've still got a chance. Mr. Fallis. There's no mistaking it. Huh? Mr. Fallis. That's enough. Please. Witness. I promised her 5 years ago, if it never happens, that we can't trust each other no other more. Then we were supposed to drink the bottle. Ugh. No, stop the trial. Your Honor, we need a recess. I was stupid, couldn't keep promise. So I did it. I drank this. No, we were so close, just a little more. I was going to prove your innocence. No, I don't want that. I don't trust self. Maybe kill again. Kill sweet Delilah again. Mr. Fallis. Mr. Armano. Thanks for the coffee. Mr. Fallis. And so my first trial ended suddenly and tragically. It ended with no winners, only losers. It ended up with a wound that would cut so deep into my soul, I thought I'd never heal. I'm sure it was a shame for the young prosecutor as well. But one person, the true criminal, Dial Hawthorne, she left the court with a secret smile on her face. Demonically sweet face. Unforgivable, that witch. Mr. Armando. We were so close to the truth. It was right there in front of us. You were just a little too soft, kitten. It's my fault. It's my fault that Mr. Fallis killed himself. Don't cry, kitten. You're going to make my coffee all salty. I knew it. I knew I wasn't cut out for this. Mia. Don't you get it? You can't cry yet. The only time a lawyer can cry is when it's all over. Mr. Romano. No matter how tough the case, no matter how bitter their memories, they always fade over time. Then file them away and eventually forget them. One year later, in this very same courthouse, I myself got wrapped up in that case. Only after that, Dahlia Hawthorne get put on trial for her crimes. The verdict that was ultimately handed down to her was guilty, of course. Naturally, when the verdict was read, she had a perfect angelic smile on her face. It was finally over, at least that's what I thought at the time. Unfortunately, it could have been more wrong. It's been 5 years, but now something had happened. That's what made me remember all this. A brand new episode has been added. Alright, let's save the next episode for next time. Since this was a pretty simple, slower, easier episode, there was like no cut-ins and outs of like going or investigating, and we had everything, and there was a whole trial situation. I think that's a good place to stop. And we'll pick up the last episode Monday. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you soon.